It was 7:03 p.m. when Marco Baysai's phone lit up with a message that would upend his carefully crafted world. Sitting alone in his penthouse suite high above the glittering skyline of Lagos, the 42-year-old oil magnate swirled a glass of red wine in his hand, distractedly scrolling through investment reports on his tablet. Then came the name he hadn't seen in nearly 6 years, Anita. The moment he saw it, his chest tightened. A name he had buried under work, women, and wealth. A name that once echoed in the marble halls of their now-abandoned mansion in Lekki Phase 1. He stared at the screen for a full minute before opening the message. "Mark, please. I need to see you. It's urgent." No emojis. No passive-aggressive tone. Just plain desperation. He sighed, shaking his head. "Probably needs money again," he muttered, tossing the phone aside. After the divorce, Anita had disappeared. Occasionally there were emails, some polite, others bitter, always ending in a request. Help for her mother's surgery. Money to relocate. Even once, a desperate ask to save her from some shady debt she'd racked up. But this felt different. Mark set down his wine, picked up the phone again and typed, "Where are you?" An hour later he was in his sleek black Range Rover, driving into the dim streets of Surulere, a far cry from the glass towers and guarded gates he now called home. His driver, Emeka, glanced nervously at the unfamiliar streets, but Mark insisted on going alone this time. Anita had sent a location pin, an old church compound near a railway line. The gate creaked as he entered. The compound was silent, save for the distant hum of traffic and the faint rustle of dry leaves. The place was half-lit, with flickering bulbs overhead and shadows lurking in corners. She appeared from behind the church building, older, thinner, eyes sunken but blazing with something deeper than sadness. Guilt? Fear? Maybe both. "Anita," he said stiffly, trying to hide the surprise and unease in his voice. She didn't answer. Just looked at him, then motioned for him to follow. Inside the back room of the church, under the dim yellow light, she handed him a brown envelope. Her fingers trembled. "I didn't know who else to go to. I've been quiet for years, Mark. But this I can't carry alone anymore." He opened the envelope slowly. Inside were photographs, grainy, some torn, and several printed pages. One image caught his attention first. A little girl. Curly-haired, bright eyes, unmistakably his nose. He blinked. "What is this?" Anita exhaled sharply. "Her name is Zara. She's ours. She's 7 now. But that's not why I called you here." Mark looked up, heart pounding. "There's something wrong, Mark. Something very, very wrong with her." Mark stood frozen, his mind still trying to catch up with what he'd just heard. His daughter? For 7 years, Anita had hidden this from him. But it wasn't just the revelation that shook him, it was the fear in her voice. "She speaks to things that aren't there," Anita said, her voice trembling. "Draws symbols she couldn't possibly know. Sometimes, she vanishes for hours and no one can find her. And when she returns, she says things she couldn't have seen or heard. She told me you were coming tonight, before I even messaged you." Mark narrowed his eyes, trying to process the surreal details. "You think she's possessed?" "I don't know what to think anymore," Anita whispered. "But I'm scared of my own daughter." Despite the chaos roaring inside him, Mark followed Anita to a dimly lit room behind the church. There, seated silently on a mat, was Zara. She looked up as he entered. Those same eyes, his eyes, stared into him with a depth that felt centuries old. "Hi," he said softly. Zara tilted her head. "You're late." The room felt colder suddenly. Mark blinked. "What?" "I waited for you in the place between dreams," she said. "Mama said you wouldn't come, but I knew you would." His stomach twisted. "I drew you something," she continued and held up a paper. On it was a charcoal sketch of him, wearing the same jacket he had on now, standing in front of a tall black gate with symbols carved all around it. "What is this, Zara?" "That's where I go when I sleep," she said. "They talk to me there. They say you were supposed to open the gate." Mark staggered out of the room an hour later, pale and disoriented. Anita followed behind, eyes red from tears and exhaustion. "I didn't bring you here to beg," she said. "I brought you here because she needs you. There's something binding her to something else. And I think you're part of it, whether you like it or not." Over the next week, Mark took Zara to specialists, therapists, neurologists, even a priest. No one had answers. Some dismissed her as traumatized, others as gifted. But every night she drew the same gate. Every night she whispered to something unseen. And then one night Mark dreamt it too. He was standing at the black gate. The symbols glowed and a voice called from the other side. Zara is the key, but you are the lock. He woke drenched in sweat. Heart racing. What began as a message from an ex-wife he had long forgotten, had become a doorway into a world he never believed in. And now Marco Besai had a choice to make. Open the gate, or keep it closed forever.